this has been an incredible visit. I think a lot of good has come of it. We've made some fantastic trade deals, great for both countries. He's a man I respect greatly, become really a friend. We've settled a lot of different problems that other people wouldn't have been able to settle. And the relationship is a very strong one. We've really done some wonderful things. We'll be back, and I believe on September 24th or thereabouts, President Xi's going to be coming to the United States, and we will be reciprocal, like reciprocal trade. The visit will be reciprocal. We're going to lay it on the line, and we're going to have, you're going to walk away, hopefully very impressed, like I'm very impressed with China.
That's President Trump in his final press conference with Xi Jinping before departing Beijing earlier this morning, highlighting a strong relationship with China and Xi Jinping following that historic two-day summit. The president bringing America's top CEOs with him on this trip. Elon Musk, Jensen Huang, Tim Cook, all there, trying to help open China's technology market as the race for AI supremacy intensifies. The U.S. just yesterday cleared a deal for Nvidia to sell its H200 chip to at least 10 Chinese companies. That was a big win for Nvidia, including Alibaba, Tencent, ByteDance, and JD.com will be able to now buy that chip. It's not the most advanced chip, but it's one of them. At Nvidia. Joining me now is Seekr Technology CEO Pat Condo. Seekr is a generative AI company building trustworthy AI models. Pat, great to have you this morning. Thanks so much for being here. Let me get your take on where we are in this AI race, and what are your observations about this China trip and now the U.S. greenlighting that H200 chip to go to Chinese companies?
Well, there's no better negotiator than President Trump, and he certainly had our best and brightest with him. So I believe that they've probably struck quite a great deal for the distribution and availability of those chips. It's noticeable that, however, we didn't talk about the advanced manufacturing processes to create chips. I think that's where the United States leads by over 10 years, and it's an area that we do not want to give up to China at this point in time. And then third area that I thought was interesting, also off the table, we're developing advanced energy capabilities that go beyond, coal and oil and are into small modular nuclear reactors, which I believe will increasingly put distance between us and China. And it's the policies that President Trump have put in place that are really driving, I think, this arc that the United States is on, dominating AI everywhere in the world.
Yeah, it's a great point, and we're going to talk with the CEO and founder of Nano Nuclear in this program coming up to talk a little more about that build-out, because energy is really as important a story as ever right now as China rapidly builds out its AI infrastructure for military use, cyber warfare, likely surveillance as well. It means the U.S. is facing even more pressure to build trustworthy AI models that can protect national interests. Tell us about your company's role in this fight, because I think this is topic A right now in the White House in terms of ensuring that there's some kind of a kill switch or a security around these AI models after the breach that we saw at Anthropic.
Well, I think that, over time, it's always been, a network's always been successful when there's been trust. And with trust comes transparency. So you must be able to know how the AI got the answer it got and be able to go all the way back through the entire process to determine if that's the correct answer or not, and why the AI did what it said it would do. So explaining those results is incredibly important, particularly in the area of consequential AI, where there could be a legal, financial, or catastrophic result done by the AI system. And we believe that having this trustworthy system that has transparency means you can govern it. And to govern it, you need to have the data to be able to measure it. So those are the things that we build into our system that allow us to measure not just the big models that exist today, but a whole trove of new models that are coming out the small vertical models that will come out and those that will go to the edge, where relying on a human becomes less and less possible. Think deep space or undersea, other side of the moon. You're going to need to trust the AI that's operating in those systems. So the next wave of AI technology is all about trustworthiness.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. So you have a confidence that we're going to be able to come up with the proper quote-unquote patch to put in place to get there faster than the AI agents will if they're trying to undermine humans. Because we know that right now there was an emergency meeting called by Scott Bessent. He brought together AI companies and banks to talk about what corporate America can do to ensure that we're ready and we can beat potential wrongdoers and bad actors from breaching our bank accounts or doing a bad actor move. Can we get there faster to stop them? You're saying you have confidence in terms of that kind of security?
I am, because whether it's a company or a nation that has superior computational advantage will win that game. That's what it comes down to. So we have to continue to push the borders on increasingly building faster computers, faster chips, being able to put the right kind of controls in it, and be able to put this in the hands of all businesses, governments and businesses. And this is why I like one of the programs President Trump put in place, which was the Office of Strategic Capital, which has $200 billion to put to work into American industries. And I think we should be taking advantage of that and building these advanced systems in place to defend ourselves against adverse nations or even domestic activists.
Of course. Now, your company has a valuation of more than $1 billion, $1.25 billion. You've got 32 granted and pending patents combined across 3 nationwide offices. Tell us about that. What's next for the company, and what are you expecting to do with these patents?
So what we're pushing on is really the outermost boundary of what the definition of explainability is. In simple terms, you can't go public without an audit. You can't release a drug without substantial testing. We're saying you shouldn't release AI without that same kind of testing, evaluation, and trust quotient put into it. So we see almost an unlimited future where the combination of so many different models and so many agents that are built on these models, it almost creates an environment where it's, unexpected kind of consequences can occur if there aren't the proper trust and governing that are put into the systems, and not to stifle any form of forward momentum, but to put guardrails around that momentum so that we can achieve all the results we want, but we also can block those foreign entities or adverse nations that want to come into our environment and disrupt what we're doing, which is happening now and will happen. I mean, we only have to look back a few years and know what Huawei was all about. It took us 10 years to realize that the Chinese were doing that with all of our telecommunication and software equipment. Now we're going to see the same thing in AI. So rather than wait 10 years, let's focus on handling that problem today.
All right. We will be watching all of that. Pat, great to have you this morning. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Pat Condo. Stay with us. We'll be right back.